Hi everyone, and welcome to this SAT video guide by Bullet Education Resources at bulleter.com. Today we'll take a look at sentence completion questions in the SAT critical reading section, what they are, how to prepare for them, and strategies to solve them. Along the way, we'll walk through a few examples to illustrate the whole thinking process. Just a quick note before we start, the SAT is a registered trademark of the College Entrance Examination Board, which was not involved in and does not endorse the production of this video. Alright. This is what a sentence completion question type looks like. You're given a sentence and asked to fill in the blank with the best word choice. There's 19 of these over 3 sections, and that's usually divided into blocks of 5, 7, and 7 questions. There are 2 main types of sentence completions, those with 1 blank and those with 2 blanks, and we'll take a look at both of those in just a minute. But before you start anything, you want to start studying vocabulary. A lot of people say memorizing vocabulary is a waste of time, but it really is the single most reliable way to increase your critical reading score. First and foremost, you want to put into place a daily schedule for memorizing vocabulary. Make sure that your study is consistent every day. A lot of people wonder which word list or book they should use. There are 3 standard recommendations depending on your own situation. The Direct Hits book has the best rate of words showing up on the SAT. But for those who have months to study, Barron's How to Prepare for the SAT book has 3,500 words, which would cover pretty much everything you could possibly see on the SAT. For those on a budget, Rocket Review provides their vocab list for free, and you can find that link on bulleter.com. Here are 3 rules to get the most out of studying vocabulary. First, always make flashcards. This might seem really boring, but flashcards have been proven effective over and over in research studies. Rule number 2, as you're memorizing, keep your definitions to 4 words or less. This will make memorizing large amounts of words much easier. Third, when you get stuck on hard words, use mnemonics. Make up little tricks based on the way a word sounds so that you'll be able to remember it. Once you have a plan for building up your vocabulary, you can start learning the steps to approaching sentence completion questions. We'll look at 1 blank questions first. There's 6 fundamental steps to solving these. The very first thing you want to do is to look for the clue. The test writers will include a hint in every sentence that should lead you to the correct answer. Sometimes this will be a direct definition of the word in the blank, and sometimes this will be an action or description that relates to the word. Once you've found this clue, circle it so everything's clear. Using that clue, reword the problem into a question and then answer that question with each of the 5 choices. You can also put each of the 5 choices into the blank of the original question instead. This actually works better for some people. Try both and see what works for you. Going on, eliminate the ones you know are wrong until you end up with 1 choice. And to check your answer, put that choice into the blank of the sentence and read it out loud in your head just so you can check that it sounds right. Let's look at an example to illustrate this method. The question is, since her debut, star actress Shirley Temple has grown into a generational symbol, leading some to call her a true blank of our nation. The clue here is a direct definition and really jumps out here. A generational symbol. We circle this clue to focus our attention and then reword it into a question. Which word means generational symbol? Going through each of the 5 choices, we can eliminate each of the wrong answers in turn. We know that critics aren't symbols. Messengers send messengers, so that's out. Activists work for a cause, but they don't necessarily symbolize anything, especially across generations. Class has nothing to do with the clue either. So we end up with B, emblem, as our correct answer. Reading the sentence, we have Shirley Temple has grown into a generational symbol, leading some to call her a true emblem of our nation, which makes perfect sense. Next up is the questions with 2 blanks. These are a little more complicated, but they can actually be easier at times since you're given more clues. So step by step, first you identify and circle the clues, just as you did for single blank questions. The next part is a little different. Draw arrows from the clues to the blanks they refer to. This will help keep your thinking clear and allow you to identify the relationship between the 2 blanks. Write this relationship down. Once you're done with that, you can start eliminating choices. First, eliminate the choices that don't fit the relationship that you wrote down. After that, eliminate the choices that don't fit the clues you circled. Finally, again, put your answer back into the blank and read it aloud to check that it sounds right. This example will be a little trickier. The question is, even ideas that are fundamentally blank can overcome their inherent irrationality and become blank in society's collective psyche. The phrase that sticks out immediately is inherent irrationality, so circle that. However, we also need to circle overcome and even, since these tell us about how the blanks are related. When we read the sentence again, we can draw in arrows so that irrationality is telling us what's in the first blank, and even and overcome are hinting at what's in the second blank. The word even is the biggest clue here. It tells us that blank 2 is somewhat surprising because of that irrationality. Let's write this relationship down. Blank 2 is an action of blank 1 that is surprising due to the irrationality. Now we can start eliminating choices. First, we'll take out ones that don't fit this relationship. And choice A, an idea being trivial, would not be surprising given that it's conclusive. Similarly, an E, an inconsequential or unimportant idea, would not be surprising given that it's imaginative. Then we can eliminate choices based on the given clues. The word irrefutable in choice B contradicts the irrationality clue, as does the word credible in choice C. We're left with choice D, incongruous and ingrained, as our final answer. No matter how well you prepare for sentence completions, however, you'll almost always have to guess. You'll never know all the words for sure. But there's a penalty for guessing, so when is it worth it to guess? The basic rule of thumb is, if you can eliminate 3 choices for certain and leave yourself with 2, you should guess. If you can eliminate 2 choices for certain and 1 choice maybe, you should consider guessing. From there, you want to make an educated guess. You can't just guess at random. Making educated guesses can make or break your sentence completion score. There's basically 3 steps to this. First, you want to look at the word structures for similarities to words that you do know. Then, you can form a hypothesis or an educated idea about what each of these words mean. Then, match the hypothesis to the clue or clues that you circled, as well as the relationship between the blanks if it's a 2-blank question. Some people will also tell you to look at patterns. For example, the SAT will often put words that are the exact opposite of the correct answer, or words that are similar but not really correct. This pattern method is less reliable than the hypothesis method, but you can use it to supplement. Alright, so now let's look at an example where you're forced to guess. We have this question. Most politicians believe that due to the blank nature of the United States and Mexico, physical barriers are ineffective at dissuading illegal immigration. Reading through, we can identify physical barriers as the primary clue here. So let's circle it. Asking ourselves the question, which word has to do with physical barriers? We can eliminate choice A, diplomatic, which would mean dealing with the relations, since that has nothing to do with physical. We can eliminate choice E, bipartisan, meaning politics of 2 parties, because that doesn't apply at all here. And we can eliminate autonomous, which means independent, for the same reason. Now we're left with 2 words, and we don't know the meaning of either of them. By the rule of thumb, we should guess. We're going to hypothesize that iridescent means something like reminiscent or remembering old memories. Note that this is actually wrong, since iridescent means many colors, but we'll go with this guess for now. Then we're going to guess contiguous means something like continuous, being together continually. Out of these 2, contiguous makes much more sense with the clue of physical barriers, so we'll choose that as the correct answer, and it ends up that is correct. It's about time to wrap up, but I just wanted to remind everyone that there's much more at bulleter.com. There are more examples with explanations for sentence completions if you're still unclear. We have strategies for the passage parts of critical reading, which give a lot of people trouble. And if you have a question about this video, SAT reading, or anything SAT related at all, just head over to the contact page and we'll answer your question right away. Thanks everyone for listening, and I hope this helped you.